tonight, the officer now seen by millions stepping down. It comes after he was accused of throwing that teenage girl to the ground, sitting on her, then pulling out his gun. Late details coming in now. Also tonight, zeroing in the urgent manhunt for those two escaped killers, now converging on one town. And tonight here, face to face, you will hear from witnesses who say they saw the fugitives in their backyard and what they said to each other. Also seen for the first time since the scandal, the former Speaker Dennis Hastert in his SUV with his wife. Today showing up to federal court, our Brian Ross right there with the tough questions.
Is there anything at all you want to say, sir?
And the rush hour road rage, the man in the tie going after the other driver when a van nearly hits one of them. When rage puts the rest of us in danger.
From ABC News World Headquarters, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Tuesday night. And we begin with that breaking headline out of Texas tonight. The video now watched by nearly 10 million. The officer confronting teenagers at a pool party, appearing to toss that teenage girl to the ground and later drawing his gun. We reported on the outrage that followed. The late word tonight that officer is now resigning. Tonight, a new image moments before that cop rushed in, once named Officer of the Year. ABC's Steve Osunsami leading us off.
Late word tonight that the McKinney police corporal seen sitting on a teenage girl with his knees in her back is stepping down after millions have viewed the disturbing images. The 15-year-old who recorded this chaotic scene outside a Texas pool party says skin color had something to do with why police were called and how they reacted.
I was like one of the few Caucasian people at the party, so I think it might have had something to do with racism.
Brandon Brooks says he watched as his black friends were singled out.
At that point, my heart did drop, and I was scared that someone was going to get shot and possibly killed. So I knew I had to keep on filming.
The image that upset so many the most is this one. Corporal Eric Casebolt getting rough with a teenage girl in a bikini. Casebolt was named Officer of the Year in 2008, but just a year earlier was accused in a federal lawsuit of racial profiling and excessive force during a drug search. Albert Brown Jr., who's African American, says Casebolt and other officers slammed his head against the hood of his car. Police did find drugs. The lawsuit was dismissed.
What do we want? Justice!
Families marching the streets here calling for Casebolt's dismissal are getting some satisfaction tonight. Steve Osunsami, ABC News, McKinney, Texas.
Steve, thank you. And now to the urgent manhunt tonight for those two escaped killers. That daring prison break, cutting through steel and brick with power tools. Now 40 miles from where they broke free, hundreds of police on the ground tonight. An intense focus on one town. ABC's Wjla Benitez this evening with two eyewitnesses who say they came face to face with the fugitives.
Stay with your partner. Two-man teams.
Tonight, the dramatic search for the escaped killers takes us deep into dense woods. 400 officers pushing through tangled trees, scanning from the skies, standing side by side in formation to canvass a large area of fields and farms.
What they're doing right now is called a grid search. They are just searching every square inch of this whole place.
They're pursuing a new lead in the search for David Sweat and Richard Matt, 35 miles away from the prison in the small town of Willsboro. At 2 a.m., in the midst of torrential rain, a local resident spots two men walking along the side of the road, approaches them, but they run off. So the resident calls police, who cordon off the whole area. The killers on the lam since early Saturday. These people who live near the prison tell us they had a close encounter with the men right after they broke out.
So they're just there in your backyard?
Yes, they were looking around a little bit, walking in our backyard, and people don't walk in backyards around here.
Still scared, they asked us not to share their names.
Lucky to be alive, man. Like they could have done anything.
Tonight, still so many questions about how Sweat and Matt got those power tools to drill through a wall, cut through pipes, and saw open a manhole. Prison officials saying all their power tools have been accounted for. There have been no arrests, but police are still talking to people on the inside, including this woman, Joyce Mitchell, a training supervisor working in the prison's tailor shop. Police think the prisoners are capable of anything. Matt convicted of breaking a man's neck with his bare hands. But in prison, good behavior. Sources say both men were housed in the so-called honor block, where the murderers were allowed special privileges, like wearing plain clothes.
And today, investigators have been going up and down these railroad tracks, searching for any clues. Tonight, they'll be going door to door to find these dangerous men. David?
Gio Benitez live in upstate New York tonight. Gio, thank you. This evening, major developments in the case of former Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert in court today, pleading not guilty to charges he lied to the FBI, that he paid millions in hush money, allegedly to conceal sexual abuse from his days as a high school wrestling coach. Our cameras capturing Hastert there at the gas station with his wife of 42 years right there in the passenger seat. Tonight, our own chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross with the tough questions for Hastert.
Arriving today without the lights, sirens, and government bodyguards that used to surround him. Mr. Speaker, the former Speaker of the House instead was surrounded by a mob of photographers and reporters outside the Chicago courthouse.
Mr. Hastert, any comment you want to make? Mr. Hastert.
Treated like any other accused criminal, the 73-year-old Dennis Hastert, once second in line to the presidency, made his way through security before being booked, fingerprinted, and entering a plea of not guilty. He declined to answer my questions.
Mr. Hastert, Brian Ross from ABC. Is there anything at all you want to say, sir?
The charges against Hastert date back to the time he was a popular high school wrestling coach and allegedly sexually abused a male student. The indictment says he paid his victim, identified only as Individual A, $1.7 million in hush money, in cash, to keep his secret from coming out. And federal officials say there was more than one abuse victim.
I think people need to stop and remember that these boys were 14, 15, 16 years old.
Jolene Burge told ABC News she's been waiting for this day for decades, ever since her late brother Steve Reinbold told her that Hastert had molested him when he served as the wrestling team's student equipment manager.
He damaged Steve, I think, more than any of us will ever know.
The charges against Hastert have raised other questions about how he amassed millions of dollars as a congressman and later a lobbyist and came to own 2 sprawling homes. We saw him Monday with his wife Jean at their place in Illinois, along with one of their 2 sons, Josh, the man with the tattoos, who himself became a well-paid Washington lobbyist while his father was the Speaker of the House.
Hastert could face up to 10 years in prison. Today, the former Speaker surrendered his passport, posted a $4,500 bond, and then went home, appearing very much to be a broken man. David?
Brian Ross, live in Chicago for us. Brian, thanks. A major development tonight in the movie theater massacre, the trial of James Holmes, coming to a halt today. 3 jurors dismissed by the judge, accused of discussing the case outside of court, something they are under strict orders not to do. There was also a new development in that case of road rage here in New York City that made national headlines. The swarm of bikers surrounding an SUV, a family inside. Tonight, for the first time, the undercover NYPD detective off duty at the time, riding with those bikers, revealed. The judge finding him and another man guilty of assault, acquitted of the most serious charges. He now faces a minimum of 2 years in prison. We turn this evening to the severe weather watch tonight. 11 million Americans in the storm zone right now, from the Midwest all the way to the Northeast. 250 severe storm reports in just 24 hours, and the images coming in. This time lapse from Baltimore, the gathering storms there in the last 24 hours. We've also got flooding in Nashville, a dangerous commute for a time. And look at this in Rockford, Michigan, whipping winds and rain. These images coming in overnight. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z's hometown, by the way. She's here because so many hometowns are right in that storm track tonight.
The hometowns are numerous, and we'll go straight to the map to take you there. Anywhere from Georgia to New York, more than 40 severe storm reports just today, and you're seeing a New Hampshire, still a severe thunderstorm watch, but there's another pocket and a brand new severe thunderstorm watch that just came out for parts of Minnesota and South Dakota. That goes through tonight. Same cold front that sparked those storms will move in. Buffalo, Cleveland, Northwest Indiana, you're all in it for tomorrow. That pocket back in the plains too. And David, this is interesting. The remnants of Blanca sending moisture along with that upper level low up into Arizona and New Mexico today, even California. Flash flood watches going into effect tomorrow through the next day. They're Wyoming down to New Mexico, parts of California. They're Tucson. To give you perspective, got more rain overnight than they have or average in all of June.
Well, they need it, but watches, and we're watching the whole country actually tonight. Trouble spots. Ginger, thank you. Now to that urgent medical warning from the CDC, the patient battling a powerful strain of TB in isolation now tonight. That strain of TB, only 30% of patients are actually cured. And this particular patient traveling through some of the nation's busiest airports. Dr. Besser is standing by on this, but first, ABC's David Curley with the race against time now to find hundreds of Americans who may have